Welcome to He's Been Doing It All Day, proudly brought to you by the Carlton Drafts. Check them out at carltondraftshirts.com. We're Adam and Simon. Check us out at Been Doing It All Day. It's round 5.
The Blues versus the Saints. The Saints went full turbo mode. The start was too hot for Dan Hanbury, struck down by another soft tissue injury. Ben Long took up a new job as the light bulb changer at Marvel. Mate, he was so high on that specky, bumped his head. The luscious mullet flowing peakly on the way down. The Baggers tried hard but couldn't finish any of their chances. The Saints are in the top 4. St Kilda win by 18.
Essendon versus Collingwood. An Anzac Day clash in July seems par for the course for 2020. Mason Cox played much like I did for the entirety of my career. No touches in the first half and finishing with 2 handballs at the final siren. Pies down, mounting a comeback before hugely controversial score review where the goal umpire decided he wanted to show Big Mason how it was done. Let the ball hit him when it was going through the big sticks. The reviewers decide it probably would have hit the post and halt the Pies' momentum. The goal umpire finishes with 4 Supercoach points. The Dons take the big 4 points and roll the Pies by 15 points.
West Coast versus Sydney, poised for an early Swans-Eagles Super Classic. Then West Coast went West Coast and finally kicked away. They finally found their form and figured out how to pass it to each other. Josh Kennedy took a screamer and then missed the tap-in after that. Returned to forms from Nick Nat, Elliot Yeo, Dom Sheed, Tim Kelly, Andrew Gaff, Brandon Archie, all in the same round. The West Coast win by 34.
Geelong versus Gold Coast. We got to watch one of the greatest to ever play the game in action. Gary Ablett also pulled on the 350th time for the jumper. How lucky is he that he got to play a game against Matt Rowell? It wasn't a day to remember for the young bull as his shoulder proved too strong for its socket and he may be out for a few weeks. Our man, the Sex Machine, registered another goal for the season and Joel Selwood played his 300th game and first ever without the blood rule. Cats settle after some early worries and take it by 37 points.
North Melbourne versus the Dogs. Baz Lenker, Bailey Smith concussed early after receiving a brutal tackle. Ben Cunnington looked like an old bull in the backyard, couldn't move. They put him in and it reeked of desperation from North Melbourne. Bruce had a sudden return to form and kicked 6 goals. Beautiful week to do that for us, Bruce. Thanks, mate. My reviews are always so biased and I do not apologise for that. There was a tough night for the Roos. The Dogs are well and truly humming at this stage of the season. Bulldogs by 49.
Brisbane versus Port Adelaide, top of the table clash in the Sunshine State. There must have been an interchange error in the second quarter from Port because there wasn't a power player on the ground as the Lions slammed on 5 goals in 9 minutes. Inspector Gadget, Harris Andrews had Charlie Dixon in handcuffs for the entire game, keeping him goalless, and the engraver of the Brownlow has already started etching Lachie Neale's name onto the medal after another 29 touches in a goal. The Lions by 37 beautiful points.
Speaking of biased recaps. The Dockers versus the Crows. It was the last game in the Gold Coast hub and it was broadcast into prime time in the United States. If you hadn't heard that, you were sleeping under a rock. Unfortunately, anyone stateside didn't get to see the beauty that's Nat Fyfe, but they did get to see Matt Crouch back into the side, 28 touches, proving Adelaide have absolutely no idea what they were doing last week when they dropped him. The Dockers get up 20 points.
Richmond versus Melbourne. Now this game is happening live and in a game that no one expected the D's to win. The D's aren't winning. In a very Melbourne-style game, they have 8 of the 9 top possession winners on the ground. Petrarca had 14 in the first quarter, and Max Gawn is absolutely dominating, and they're still losing by 29 points. We've got Brandon Ellis up next, and we're going to get him to live commentate some of the game, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And our final game of the round, which is yet to happen, is the Giants and the Hawks. Sim, tip?
Giants. It was Hawks up until my mouth went to the microphone.
How dare you?
That was round 5.
My spicy take is that Matt Rowell, will come back from this shoulder injury and still win a Brownlow.
My spicy take was Matt Rowell's not going to miss a game. I reckon he'll play next week.
Mate, he wanted to play after he did it.
Oh, no.
Of course he would. He's an animal.
Did you see he dislocated his shoulder and then started running towards the ball? Like, oh no, this is bad, actually.
This
is
need
really
it.
bad.
They'll cotton wool him for 8 weeks.
They'd have to.
Apparently it's 6 years to the day today since Gary Ablett did his shoulder up on the
Yep.
Gold Coast.
Ah.
That pretty much torpedoed everything.
Because Gary went over to him after the game and you could see him, couldn't tell what he was saying, but he tapped on the shoulder, was like, mate, I did it, still came back, won a Brownlow.
I'll tell you what he said.
Yeah.
Because they interviewed and asked him.
Oh,
He just said, hey, call me. After you find out what's going on, call me and I'll tell you what happened with my shoulders.
that's pretty
That's
cool.
what he said.
Tell you
Not-
when my injured shoulder ruined the Gold Coast season. I'll run you through it.
I'll tell you what, though. We've been on them for a few weeks in a row.
Yep.
We probably should talk about the Bombers. Mate, that was a win.
The Bombers are 4-1.
Yeah, bro. The Bombers are... Yeah, that was a real... You can't deny...
I know.
That was a very good win. Everyone has picked Collingwood. Everyone said that Collingwood's the benchmark. Collingwood's the benchmark.
Sorry, I'll correct myself. The Bombers are 3-1 because they haven't played that fifth game because of the D's
Well,
game.
they were going to play Melbourne, so 4-1.
Yes.
Yeah.
They may as well give it to them now.
My mates at Bombers Sport, we watch it with us. Are they the number one roller coaster team?
Oh, my God. Can you imagine supporting them?
I think 5 years ago I would have said Richmond before they were
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Because remember they used to just lose from
Miles
unimaginable
away.
places.
Yep.
I think it's Essendon because every week is just an absolute episode.
It must be stressful.
Oh, mate. Every Essendon supporter you know is just pulling their hair out.
Essendon are 3-1 and 3 inches away from being undefeated.
Yeah. Have you seen the Twitter page at EFC Finals? They count how many days it is since Essendon's won a final. Every day there's a new tweet. It's up to 5,783.
I love that I brought in Essendon to the conversation in a really positive light, and we're going to finish on the Twitter page that counts down their finals.
You got a spicy take for us, Justin?
Is now, not by virtue of how they're going,
Yep.
who's the first coach on the block? Because I think it might be Matthew Nix.
Adelaide.
Nixie.
Got to be.
It has to be Nixie, doesn't it?
He's 5 games in.
Yeah. But
But there is literally no one else.
the joints are basket case.
There's no other candidates. And obviously it's not really of his doing.
But he's not instilling any belief.
That's my problem.
Like
Have you
he
seen him
needs-
be interviewed?
Yeah, I mean, he's not the most charismatic guy.
Okay, well, what about this one? Simon Goodwin. Simon Goodwin of the D's.
Yeah, I think he's the other candidate.
I reckon Simon Goodwin will lose his job before Matthew
But
Nix will.
bizarrely, there's no one else. Like
No.
Hinkley's there flying.
They
Yeah.
just cleared all last year.
Adam Simpson's got credits in the bank.
The Roos love Reece Shaw.
Freo got a new
First year.
coach.
Yeah,
Obviously they
Longmuir.
won today.
Yeah.
There's no one
Brisbane's
else.
flying.
Yeah, Hardwick.
Dewey's flying at the
Ben
Suns.
Rutten doesn't start till next year.
Yeah.
It's going to be him.
It's 5 games
Goody.
in.
Has to be Goody.
But I also think maybe they just go, this year is just schmozzle.
Free-
One, you get a year.
Get a
When
free
was the
swing.
last
Don't go
year-
out first ball.
Question without notice, and I don't know if any of us will know, but when was the last year where there wasn't a coach
I
sacked?
think it was only 2 years ago.
Really?
I remember it happened quite recently and we were like, oh, that's bizarre.
But then last year, how many went? 4?
Yeah, it would have been
Crows went. Don Pike
Brad
went.
Scott at North.
Yeah. Freo.
Richardson at the Saints.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's 4.
There's 4 easily. And that's without even thinking of the...
And this week, no team is playing in their home state. Both Queensland teams playing in New South Wales. Both New South Wales teams playing in Queensland. All Victorian teams out. No games in SA or WA.
Wild. I've got a spicy take for you, Adam.
Go.
AFL fans on Twitter will never be happy. Never, ever.
Humans will never be happy on Twitter.
Because have you seen what happened? So Adelaide versus Freo, and they're pumping it up as broadcast into prime time into the US. Everyone on Twitter, oh, I can't believe it's these two teams. This is ridiculous. If you put 2 good teams on the first game on a Sunday afternoon, can you imagine the caning they would get?
Yeah. If the
Bombers
game is
versus
like-
Collingwood. I can't believe we're Sunday morning. This is ridiculous. Like, Twitter fans never happy.
Yeah.
Never, ever happy. And I love it.
They're like, change the time zone. we
oh
can't.
my God. Time zones are not on us, bro.
All right, up next, our guest is Richmond Premiership player Brandon Ellis. Today's guest, Syme, is Richmond Premiership player, but more importantly, Gold Coast superstar, Brandon Ellis.
Brandon Ellis, welcome to He's Been Doing It All Day, mate. How you going?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks. Just up here in Wollongong, just chilling in the hotel room. We're in Sydney for a hub for 2 weeks, so yeah.
Mate, seeing the sights of Wollongong, how lucky are you?
You know what? They've actually put us in a hotel like right on the beach, so it's got a bit of Bondi feeling.
Oh, yeah.
The sun's been out all day today, so yeah, Wollongong's put it on for us today. But it's nothing like the Goldie.
I
Nothing
feel-
beats the Goldie.
I feel like it's a bit like that for you guys. I think everyone from Melbourne is getting the good deal out of this because Melbourne sucks in July. It's so cold, but the Gold Coast is perfection, and they've moved you out of the Gold Coast. Now, mate, I could just be in my house.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually jealous that all the Melbourne teams get to go to the Goldie for 2 weeks. to be here for a couple, but yeah, Melbourne, it's not so good during the winter times. It's so bloody cold, and whereas Gold Coast, it's like 20, 25 during winter most days. So it's unbelievable weather. All the boys warned me how good winter is, and I didn't really believe them. But yeah, you can't beat it.
Was that the main reason for moving from the Tigers to the Gold Coast? You just sick of Melbourne winters?
Yeah,
I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, we'll put it to that then. Yeah. But no, I've absolutely loved my time on the coast so far, and very lucky. I've got another 4 years after this, so at least another 4 good winters to come.
As much as we'd love to talk about weather, though, we want to know what's it like to play with the young bull, Matty Rowell.
Mate, he's played 4 games, and I've never seen anything like it from a first year player. Just the way that, obviously he can impact the game, and just how strong he is and how smart he is. But the best thing about him is he's really the ultimate professional. He works so bloody hard, and it's no fluke that he's playing well. It's just very unfortunate that he copped a shit tackle last night, and just dislocated his shoulder. So we're not quite sure what the goes with that now. Hopefully it doesn't miss too long.
Yeah. Was there anyone at the Tigers that you've seen, because you've played with some absolute guns of the comp, is there anyone that he kind of reminds you of, or just even that work ethic?
So he sort of reminds me a young Trent Cottrell when Cotchy had his breakout year, I think in 2012 when he won bloody controversial Brownlow.
Stepped on some very dodgy ground there.
Yeah, I think he won most courageous, he won most valuable player. Just the way that he went about it, the way he worked, the way that he played. He was just so strong at a young age, and Rowley reminds me a lot of him. But it's just going to be so scary to see what he's going to be able to do in 4 or 5 years' time with 4 or 5 pre-seasons under his belt in the gym and playing on the best midfielders in the competition. So he's an absolute star already. And, I'm lucky enough because I'll be there for the next 4 years, and I know that he's signed a 2-year extension. So I've got at least another 4 years with him, so I'll be able to watch him grow into a superstar.
Mate, I think the biggest question is, do the Suns' jerseys grow big enough if he's going to spend that much time in the gym to be able to fit into any of them?
But how big are his shoulders?
Massive.
He's thick.
Dwight Howard style shoulders on him.
Yeah, I know. And, he was sort of already like that when he come to the Suns. But, I don't know what he's like. He loves eating. He loves his food. So, put it down to that.
Did he put the special request in for the small jersey, small shorts combo? Or they've just given that? And then he's grown over the COVID period. And they went, oh, shit, nothing fits him anymore.
I'm not quite sure, but I think everything looks tighter on him because he tucked his jumper in too short. So, excuse me. Yeah, so I think that's why everything looks so small on him. But he is a big unit when you're standing next to him. But he works very hard.
Simon's been tucking his T-shirt into his shorts for the last couple of years to try and look that big, but he's a long way off.
It turns out you actually have to be big for yourself to look big with the tucked-in shorts, but that's okay. That's all right. It's an effort thing.
Oh, well, too bad, all most teams have closed down, so you can't go into the a bit now. Only lockdown in Melbourne.
So what's the plan going to be for Wollongong during the week? Because I'm sure Wollongong on a Tuesday night absolutely slaps.
I spoke to a good friend of mine, Tommy Sheridan, who plays for GWS, and he said, when I told him we were staying in Wollongong, he sort of laughed. And he said that's the Bronx of Sydney. We've only been here not even 24 hours, and it's actually been pretty good. We get to train at the University of Wollongong, get to use their facilities, so we're pretty lucky in that sense because apparently they're 5-star. So, we'll get on with that program tomorrow, but I think this is going to be a lot of downtime at the beach because our hotel's across the road from the beach. a lot of coffee pit stops. There's nothing else to really do when you're bored, is there?
And then do you still, when you watch the Tigers, because you're watching them right now,
Yeah, I actually am. I'm not good at multitasking, but I'm doing a pretty good job at the moment.
do you still feel that same emotion like when you're watching the Tigers play that you used to feel when you watched them when you played for them, if that makes sense?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Like, it's still so raw. Like, I played with some of these guys for the last 8 years, so I just want to, Dusty, he took a mark in his hand.
There you go.
Yeah,
Brandon Ellis
right.
live commentating the Melbourne and Richmond game.
Mate, be careful. You'll get a job as the live commentator on our show. That's how we always televise the last game.
Corner, and he snapped his two for a goal.
Very good, mate. Sounds like you got a career coming for you after you finish footy anyway.
Nah, I'm probably trying to avoid footy when I finish. Go live overseas somewhere and just enjoy life. But no, I definitely do have still some attachment and emotion towards the club and the boys, because obviously I've been there for the last 8 years and I've still got some great mates there. So I just want to see them succeed and see them do well. But hopefully when we play them, the Suns can roll them. Because when I was at the time, we did with two Suns in my first couple of years. So, stop that.
Mate, last question from me. When you moved up to the Gold Coast, are there anybody that surprised you? Because they've had a few number ones and they've had, people know who we need to look at. Is there someone out there who's not getting, the recognition or not getting the publicity that you think that they probably deserve?
I'll tell you who flies under the radar, who just does a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff, is probably Nick Holman. He's not the flashiest player, but he just does all the hard stuff and all the tough stuff that, probably does go unnoticed, but it doesn't go unnoticed, in the footy club at the Suns. And I think another one is Stu Miller sort of flies under the radar as well. They're probably two that come to mind. But we have so many, young talent and young guns, that are coming through the ranks that, if we can hold on to everyone, we're going to, I think, be a pretty special club in a few years. So, it's very exciting for the Suns at the moment. And, as I said, hopefully we can hold on to them for the next few years. But another one to watch out for is Isaac Rankin. He hasn't played a game yet, but, mate, what he can do at training. What he can do at training is like, it's something that I haven't seen before as well. So, we've still got him to bleed through the ranks. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Awesome, mate. Well, we will certainly be watching, and there's one of our friends has bought himself a Gold Coast Suns pet membership, so the membership's only going up.
Beautiful. What's our tally? I'm not even sure.
I feel like everyone's on the Suns at the moment.
It's +1 for this pet.
I think the Suns are
maybe it can be +3 because these two boys can sign up.
I think the Suns are probably the most exciting team in the comp at the moment. I think everyone's G'd up to watch them, which is exciting for the Suns. Which is very exciting.
No, it is, because these boys have been starved for success for so long. I think they lost 18 in a row last year. They had no confidence, no belief. We sort of just stripped the game plan right back this year. And
they just needed you, Brandon.
Not at all.
That's what I'm hearing. That's the scoop. All the Suns needed was Brandon Ellis.
Change the culture.
No way. I play on the outside anyway, so I don't do any of the hard stuff like the inside boys do. I just, get the lick of the ice cream once they do all the dirty work.
That's why you got to pump them up.
I've got the easy job.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Brando. And good luck. Good luck for next week against the D's.
Thanks very much, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, mate.
Brando, legend.
Yeah.
It's time for our weekly award. Who's been doing it all day? Simon?
This week, I'm going with the Bombers ruckman, Andrew Phillips. Now, you probably wouldn't generally say that, like when you're comparing him to Brodie Grundy. So he played on Brodie Grundy, obviously, ruckman on ruckman. Grundy got 37 hit-outs, 10 clearances, 20 touches.
10 tackles or something? Or 7 tackles or something?
He got...
I'll be making that up.
How many tackles did he get? 6 tackles. One inside 50. Andrew Phillips, on the other hand, did not get those.
He had 11 touches, 13 hit-outs, and 6 tackles.
And it's not often you see a stat line like that. Andrew Phillips touched him up.
I don't know if he touched him up.
He killed him. He was a big red-headed pest.
I don't know if he touched him up.
And it was the best.
He was the first bloke interviewed by Channel 7 after the game. even though his opponent had 20 Ds,
Yeah.
40 hit outs, 10 clearances.
And I'm about it.
No luck, he's in the votes for sure.
But he dominated.
He did things that Bell Chambers couldn't even dream of doing.
Correct.
Sorry, he had 5 tackles, but he had 6
Essendon haven't had a
clearances.
ruckman in 10 years.
Well, I think that's
His rider.
yeah. I think that's why he might be who's been doing it all day, because on the like ladder of ruckman at Essendon, he is top, then Daylight.
He should play every game for the rest of the year.
They drop Bell Chambers and play him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to.
It was
Yeah.
great on the commentary. They're saying, "Look at him go! Now he's got to do his piece games like this together."
It's low bar. He came in at the perfect time. Very, very low
That's
bar.
all he had to do.
was
Just
great.
stick with him.
Justin?
Grundy's a freak.
I'm going to stick with the Bombers as well, as much as it pains me to pump the Bombers up too much. Jordan Ridley, down back.
He's one of the most underrated defenders in the league.
He's a menace. He's having a good year, but he looks like he's going to be doing this for 15 years, I reckon. Dustin Fletcher put out a nice tweet about him. Ridley quality, spores at the right time, great mark, great kick, and plays the game.
Yeah.
That's some good kudos.
He's
Yeah.
quick.
If you're gonna get,
He runs
kudos-
straight lines, and he's third up, takes pack mark.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
And I think like you combine him with McGrath, that's a solid 1-2 for the next
Yeah, see,
15 years. 10 years?
But maybe should go back and spicy takes. But Andy McGrath, I don't see him being an A-grade midfielder in the league.
Oh, that is abysmal.
Yeah, I disagree.
Don't say it.
He's a gun.
He's amazing.
Maybe not midfield. Maybe they'll leave him at half back.
I was about to say, we went back through that draft last night. I think I was 2017.
Pick
Yeah.
3.
whole thing.
Pick 3 is pretty bloody
And
good.
we said, we went, right, let's do it again. McGrath won.
No.
Glug 3.
McCluggage.
Oh, of course.
1.
No, I think it's conversation. You're acting like it's not even a conversation.
Your bias.
Yeah,
is
that's-
you don't even know your bias. It's so gross.
And now you're saying McGrath's no good.
McCluggage a goal kicker.
I love that you said-
I didn't say McGrath's no good. I just said I don't think he'll be an A-grade midfielder.
He's already an
I
A-grade.
don't. No.
but he's a half backman.
But the talk is that he'll turn
Yeah.
into an A-grade midfielder.
He's in
I
the
don't
middle
think he'll
now.
turn into it.
He's a gun. He's,
Yeah, I reckon he's a
his
gun.
first half on Saturday, well, whenever that was unreal.
Yeah, he's a gun. Jai Simpkin, where did you put him in the
Nah,
draft
not-
again?
not really.
No, didn't get him out there. Mate, you were calling him an A-grader last week.
No, I've never said anything about Jai
No,
Simpson.
I said turning into an A-grade.
Jai Simpkin.
We figured out that year 1 to 20, not many stars, but like probably the most even draft. ever.
Jared Berry pick 13 too. He's been doing it all day. Is from the worst game of the week, Adelaide Fremantle.
that went into America prime time. Don't know if you guys know.
Shane McAdam. Trying to take hangers all day. Didn't take a single one. He sat on about 5 shoulders. Didn't take a single hanger all day, but bloody hell was he good to watch.
I've got a little spicy take off the back of that. So I should have said it before. Now that Jeremy Howe is out, the boys see the car as an option. Everybody is jumping.
Yeah.
Taron Thomas concussed himself after
Yes, that was massive.
Everyone's going for it.
And Shane McAdam is doing like pure leap onto shoulders. He's doing like genuine vertical onto shoulders.
Flight time.
I mean, he had 3 cracks at having a goal and missed them all. And then he finally kicked his first goal from the goal square. 25-year-old making his second game. Made his debut last week against Brisbane. But, mate, he's got some hops.
He's just got to take one and he gets a car.
Yeah.
He's just investing.
Yeah. Doing it all day.
Investment scheme.
Doing it all day. That's it for another episode, though. Thanks again to the Carlton Draft for sponsoring us. Check them out at carltondraftshirts.com. Check us out at Bean Doing It All Day. We're Adam and Simon. We'll see you for round 6.